Hi, I'm Chris, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL, but I'm renaming it FRESH-MENTAL for this video because I am talking about some of my favourite fresh but strong fragrances. Stay tuned. Controversially, I'm starting this video about strong but fresh fragrances with some fragrances that are fresh but not very strong. And I'm doing this just to highlight that if we want a fresh fragrance that is only fresh, that is invigorating and light and perfect for a hot sunny day, we have to sacrifice some performance. Some of my favourite fragrances are freshies. We've got things like Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. This is a gorgeous, clean, floral, slightly soapy, refreshing fragrance that lasts about 2 hours on a hot sunny day, but those 2 hours are bliss. Pretty much the same for Creed's Virgin Island Water. This is a gorgeous lime, juicy, coconutty, white rum scent that makes me think of paradise and sitting on a white sandy beach underneath a palm tree. But again, 2 hours and it's kind of gone. More recently, we've had Boss Bottled Bold Citrus. It opens with all these bold citruses, and then it becomes very not bold as it dries down and it just fizzles out. So great for a couple of hours, but there's not a lot in here to really bolster the fragrance to give it some firepower. And if I'm talking about beautiful fresh fragrances perfect for summer that don't last very long, I have to also mention Acqua di Parma's Fico di Amalfi. Freshness with fig, summer in a bottle. This is a gorgeous fragrance, but yeah, it's not that strong and it doesn't last very long. But the point I'm trying to make, if any of these fragrances did have the notes in here to create more performance, to make them strong fragrances, we would lose the magic, we'd lose the sparkle of each of these scents. So I think as fragrance lovers, we just have to accept that sometimes if we want the magic is fleeting. But sometimes we can have fresh fragrances that do have that strength. They perhaps don't have the delicacy, the refinement, the nuance and the sparkle of some of these fragrances, but they are fresh and they are strong. The first one I'm going to mention is a new release from Hermes. This is Terre d'Hermes Eau de Parfum Intense. This definitely has the freshness of the original Terre d'Hermes with that orange and vetiver. I could easily wear this on a hot sunny day. But this is that rare fragrance that is called intense and actually is intense. Intense for a number of reasons, because yeah, it does smell more intense. It's definitely stronger than the original Terre d'Hermes, but also intense in terms of the bold creativity that Hermes have thrown into this scent. They have combined these fresher qualities with licorice, which gives the fragrance a lot more depth and really makes it last. It really anchors it to the skin, which then helps to just push off the fresher notes, but it hangs around. There's also a lava rock or something in this, but to me, it gives it a slightly mineralic quality. It makes me think of that smell. Did you ever bang two stones together when you were a kid to try and make gunpowder? Well, I did. And that smell, the heat generated and the smell, that mineralic quality that was released as I smashed these stones together, kind of makes me think of that a little bit. So you've got that warmed up stone type of smell, you've got the licorice and you've got the freshness. What you have is a fragrance that is fresh, but also strong. And that's what this video is all about. So that's why it's here. A big swing from Hermes with this fragrance, and it's certainly divisive, but I appreciate what they've done. One of my favourite niche brands is Parfums de Marly. They create some of the strongest fragrances that I have. So if there was ever going to be a strong freshie in my collection, it would be from Parfums de Marly, and this one is Percival. There's a nice bit of freshness from citruses in the top, then florals are bringing some thickness to the mid, but in the base, we've got things like ambroxan and amberwood and musks and fir, and it's these woody musky elements that are helping to bring some strength to the scent. This isn't a sparkly, shimmering citrus, but it's still predominantly a fresh fragrance, just with a strong woody musky base. So it sticks to the skin, it hangs around, the fresh part of the fragrance seems to last as well. It doesn't just settle into its base notes and lose its freshness. This is fresh for the life of the scent. As others have said, there's a bit of a designerish smell to this scent, but I think what Parfums de Marly do and what other niche brands do is sometimes they take a very popular, very mass appealing, designerish sort of DNA, throw some high quality, perhaps more expensive materials at it, maybe a few more naturals than designer fragrances, and that just helps the scent just thicken out a little bit and last a bit longer. I think that's what's going on with Parfums de Marly's Percival. This is one of my favourite fresh fragrances, and I know that when it's a nice warm day in the summer, I can spray this on and it's gonna last. One of the strongest fresh fragrances and one of the strongest fragrances in my collection is this one, and it's an EDT. Dior Sauvage. This is obviously a very popular fragrance, maybe too popular for some people. It is a common DNA and it is a more affordable fragrance, but it's popular for a reason, and that reason is it smells damn good. The fresh here is bergamot. The strength is coming from woods in the base, but what I think is really helping to push this fragrance out and help it to last is pepper. There's a few different types of pepper in here. There's pepper, Sichuan pepper and pink pepper. So all the pepper, really. I know a lot of people are put off from wearing this fragrance because it is so popular, and often we want to smell a bit more unique with our fragrances, but take all that away from it and it's a really great scent. It's versatile, it's easy to wear. As with all of Dior's fragrances, it smells really high quality. It smells like they've got some good materials in here. Like I said, popular for a reason. It's a good scent, it's strong and it's fresh. So just as Dior Sauvage relied on its spicier elements to maintain the freshness but add some strength, this fragrance is kind of doing a similar thing. From Mind Games, it's Gambit. No citrus listed in this, but it definitely has some fresher elements. There's a bit of aromatic lavender, there's some petitgrain, cloves and cardamom bringing the spiciness, and a lovely creamy sandalwood in the base. This isn't invigorating, refreshing, sparkling citrus sort of fresh, but I'd still describe this fragrance as fresh. Fresh spicy. Certainly fresh enough to wear on a hot summer's day, but also with the spices and the woods, it's got the versatility to wear it all year round, really. You could wear this in the winter, particularly because it is such a strong fragrance. It is gonna push through the cold winter air and really last, but it's certainly not too dark or too complex to only work in colder temperatures, because this works really well in warmer temperatures as well. It's been pretty warm here at the moment in the UK. I've been wearing this and I've really been enjoying it. I haven't felt that it's too strong. I think maybe on a hot sunny day, perhaps you want to just be careful of how much you spray. You want to calibrate your enthusiasm if you are an enthusiastic sprayer. I think this just smells so timeless and classy. It does have a nod to more classic smelling fragrances, but there's certainly modern sensibilities to it as well. So it's straddling both classic and modern. I think it does it really well. It smells like it's got quality ingredients. Anyone can wear this for any occasion, any time of year. Gambit is excellent from Mind Games. One of my go-to strong, fresh fragrances over the last few years, pretty much for the whole time that I've been making these videos on YouTube. It's from Giorgio Armani, and it is, of course, Acqua di Gio Profumo. Based on the original Acqua di Gio, which is predominantly a very fresh fragrance, and it adds a bit more darkness, a bit more depth with herbs, spices, and incense. The original Acqua di Gio is a marine aquatic fragrance. It's fresh, it's clean, very masculine, very gentlemanly, a bit of a game changer. With Profumo, they darkened it up a little bit. It could easily have been called Acqua di Gio Nights or Acqua di Gio Noir. It retains some of the fresher characteristics of the original, but adds these darker elements in which help to give it better performance. So this is a better performing scent than the original. I wouldn't say the original was strong and fresh. It's fine, performance is okay, but this one is fresh and it's strong and I prefer it. Obviously, this is Profumo. It's now discontinued. They rebranded it and relaunched it as Acqua di Gio Parfum. So the Acqua di Gio Parfum that came after this was pretty similar in scent, but not as similar as the second re-release and rebranding. So the current version of Acqua di Gio Parfum has more of that incense in, smells more like the Profumo. It's pretty much the same scent. So don't worry, you don't need to try and seek out Profumo and spend stupid amounts of money. If you buy the current version of Acqua di Gio Parfum, I think if you want a fragrance that is classy, sophisticated, strong, and fresh with that Acqua di Gio DNA, Acqua di Gio Parfum will do the job. On to the final fragrance, and this one kind of swept me off my feet this year. So much so that I've decided it's going to become my 2025 summer signature scent. Argos Fragrances Neptune's Trident. There's freshness coming from the citruses, also a fresh spiciness coming from cardamom, a gorgeous, refreshing green tea note at the heart of it, and then anchored with a strong woody base. Makes me think of a really refreshing iced tea on a hot, sunny day. Maybe you're on holiday somewhere hot. It just has that really uplifting, invigorating, refreshing quality to it. Quality is a good word actually, because this smells quality. It definitely smells like a niche quality fragrance. Plenty of designer fragrances can smell fresh and invigorating, but this doesn't have any of that generic, designery, mass appeal sort of scent. This smells niche and sophisticated. Again, it's relying on some spiciness to give it its strength, but cardamom gives off a fresh, spicy quality, so that fresh spiciness combined with the citruses and the green tea, it's just a perfect combination. But there's a little bit of magic, there's a little bit of fragrant alchemy going on inside this bottle, because even though it's as strong as the other fragrances in this video, I would say it's also the freshest. It manages to do that thing where it is incredibly fresh, predominantly fresh, but it has that power and it has that strength without becoming a blunt instrument. It has the sparkle, it has the magic, it has the delicate nuance. And I think to have the best of both worlds, to have a fragrance that has that sparkling, fresh magic, but also strength, that's got to be pretty difficult to do. Argos did it with Neptune Stride, and I'm absolutely loving this. Whenever the sun's out, I'm reaching for this at the moment, which is why I've decided it will become my summer signature. Great scent in a great bottle from a great brand. For me, this wins the shootout of the strong but fresh fragrances. Just a little selection from my collection. I'm sure you've got your own in your collection that you love, so let me know which are your favorite strong but fresh fragrances. And if I've not talked about them in this video, it's maybe because I don't have them, so maybe I'll get them if you can recommend them to me. I hope you liked it. If you did, please hit the like button, it really helps. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do all that, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, bye.